Hi, this is Michael Adams for CEORoaster, and yeah, I'm still at the Edelmetallmesse 2016 in Munich. It's the second day, and yeah, I'm lucky that I've been able to meet up with Bob again based on the questions that my subscribers submitted to me, and we always do it like it's almost like a tradition that I get the questions from the subscribers and I try to get them answered. And I'm lucky because yesterday you have been ill and you're at least feeling a little bit better. So thank you very much for taking the time despite these circumstances. Let's directly dig into the questions, and I have them here printed out. So first of all, the question is, could you say something about the production guidance for the projects in Australia and Malaysia? What might be the cash costs and the margin per ounce?
Okay, yes, I can answer that. In Selancing, our record production for last year shows that our cash costs are in the $600 to $650 dollars an ounce, US dollars an ounce, and that gives us a good margin with the price being about $12.50. Okay. In Australia, the Murchison project, our planning is well advanced, and we probably would have a total cost of $800 per ounce, and that is offset by the Australian dollar currency exchange, because a $1,300 gold price in US in Australia is around $1,700. Okay. So we maintain the margin because our costs in Australia are in Australian dollars.
Sure.
And so the overall objective, once we get our new 43101 out, and that will be published shortly, is to be able to show that both at Selancing, we've got at least 5 years ahead of us, probably much more than that, but investors can look for themselves. We'll put out a news release on November 10, which will give some metrics on that, and followed behind that, about 40 days later, we will file the entire 43101. And that will be on CEDAR for public use, and it's a very big document, and it's a technical document done independently by outside consulting groups.
Okay, so that's good. And actually we have another question talking about the publishing date for the 43101 update. But let's first come to question number 2, which is asking about the exclusive license for Intec Gold process on Selancing, and that you will be, as a first company, will be able to produce sulfide with a profit margin. So what's the plan? When will you be able to really have income from this source?
Well, first of all, we have to prove that the process works satisfactorily, without hiccups. That is, mistakes and problems, production problems. But we'll presently produce our 43101 on the basis of using biox. That's biological oxidation.
Okay.
That relies on bacteria. They are, naturally occurring little bugs that you can grow and you can cultivate, but we seek to improve the cost structure of that, and that's what Intec is about. And we think that we'll be putting out, if the independent consultants come back in time, we'll be putting out an independent report on that work on Intec by the end of this calendar year. That's the objective. But when you're talking about R&D and technical work, it can drag a little bit. So that's the guidance that we can give at the moment.
Okay.
What Intec does for us is it lets us treat sulfide ore, which is generally difficult. Historically, the industry has used roasters and autoclaves, very expensive equipment, and that is slowly getting banned by country after country around the world.
Okay.
So you can't use it.
Right.
So the industry's got to look for something else, and we believe we could be a first to show that we've done it with Intech if we are successful, and we believe we will be.
Okay, perfect. And there's another comment referring to this technology, and they said that Randgold in Congo, they're running out of their oxide ore, and might this be a possible licensee for this technology?
It may be. I mean, I think if we get it right, we will have a lot of interest in Monument. Because
are you already in talks? If there's kind of an NDA you can't tell about that, but are there talks with Randgold?
No, we're not in talks with Randgold. We note though that in the Financial Times this morning in Munich, Randgold are making some comments that they believe that the world gold production over the next 10 years will go down dramatically. Costs will rise because the technology to treat the sulfide gold, because as you go deeper, as the easy ounces, the low-cost ounces are taken, it gets more expensive. So you've got to look for innovative technologies to do the same job. And they are commenting that the industry has underexplored dramatically over the last couple of decades. They've rested on their reserves, and now their reserves are declining. So they're commenting that you have to explore, which Monument has been doing at Selancing. We've spent about $15 million over the last few years. Our resource statement that comes out, our 43-101, will show the results of that. And we've done the same in Australia at Murchison. So we are doing exactly that.
Okay. No, that's fair enough. And the next question is also about Intech, but it's Intech copper, which is tested on Mangapur, and because it's also sulfide ore. And so, do you think that these tests will be done for a PEA study in 2017 for Mangapur?
It will depend on what happens to the markets, because our main product out of Mangapur would be copper, and we will divert our efforts away from Selancing once we've got that working, because that is gold, and then we can focus on copper. But at the moment, with the markets like they are, we don't want to be distracted.
No, it depends on the copper price.
Sure.
It's doing way better, right? So
yes. So that's where we put our effort and our resources. You know? Yeah.
Okay, great. And then there's something interesting. I know that Klaus Eckhoff, he's also working with Monument. And the next question would be if you can say a couple of words about the new Africa strategy, and if Barry Gold, which is a company run by Klaus, with 5 million ounces, might be a takeover target. I know you can't go into detail but yeah. Give us a little bit of an update about Africa.
Well, I can't tell you much. Yes, Klaus and I talk frequently. We've had meetings here today. We'll be meeting again tomorrow. So there's a degree of cooperation and collaboration, but I can't tell you any more than that, obviously. Yeah.
Okay, so I have to keep my camera here when and tape the talks tomorrow, I guess, or later on. Anyway, okay, the last question is, and you already said a couple of words about the update for the 43-101 for Selancing, which in the news release, which was dated September 28th, was announced for October, and now you said it's coming up on November 10th?
November 10th.
Yes.
News release will come out, yes.
Okay, so it's a couple of days late, but hey, that's mining, right? So, and there will, at that point in time, you will also have an updated presentation on the website, because I think the latest one is from May, and there's new information. So you're with the news release for the 43-101, you will also have a new presentation available on the website.
That's right. We will have updated information, and our habit is not to put out news releases to say that we've got nothing to report.
Okay, makes sense, yeah.
And keeping in mind also that all of the work that we do is subject to review by independent consultants. So we've got to consider their timeline as well, and sometimes they're very busy and run late. So, and then we've got every news release that we put out on the TSX has to be reviewed by surveillance. within the TSX. They employ engineers, geologists, and so on. So we can't just go out and say, well, here's a news release and here's a lot of information. They regulate.
Which, as you know, a lot of companies, they just do it, right? So, and this is probably why a lot of shareholders or investors are used to read these kind of news releases on, let's say, a weekly base without any real, we would call it flesh on the bone. Yeah, no flesh on the bone. I'm not sure if that translates into English, but no real value, right?
No real information.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So that's probably better words. Anyway, so yeah, again, thank you very much for answering these a little bit critical questions. But hey, that's your job, actually, Rob, right? And good luck, and hope you feel better soon.
Thank you very much.